Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5-1 Formation podcast. You're listening to the Premier League segment. My name is Alex Karabatsos. I'll be your host for today. I'm joined by George and Tommy. Say what's up, boys.
What's Gucci?
First week of Premier League action, and it's back
And
Wasn't enjoyable.
in full force.
Wasn't enjoyable.
It was enjoyable for some of us, but let's get right into it because we
Yeah.
have a couple of things we gotta cover.
Let's do it.
So Mohamed Salah's hat-trick helps slip Liverpool past Leeds United in a 7-goal thriller. So first thing I want to mention before we get into the whole Liverpool side, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about there, let's talk about Leeds United a bit, because Marcelo Bielsa came very prepared and had his players ready. One guy that we kind of spoke about was Calvin Phillips, and he was very impressive.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get maybe your thoughts on him as well.
Listen, I was telling you guys in the group chat about this guy. I'm like, watch out for this guy because he's a player that you want to keep an eye out for. Just like Boston midfield did what he had to do. Very unfortunate for Leeds, conceding the penalty, a handball right away. Mm-hmm. So it kind of like changed the momentum of the game. But boom, right back at it. It was really back and forth, and it was a very, very, very entertaining game for the first week back.
Yeah. It was just unfortunate that Leeds had to lose to a juggernaut team like Liverpool the way they did with 2 penalty shots conceded.
Yeah.
But it was a good first opening game. They showed that they belong in this league, especially going up against Liverpool and scoring 3 goals past them is very impressive.
And it wasn't like they weren't like, okay, maybe one questionable goal because of Virgil van Dijk, but the other 2 goals were quality.
Yeah. Well-earned.
Well-earned quality. Yeah, 100%.
And
good on them.
Fun fact about that game as well, possession-wise, Liverpool had 48% and Leeds United had 52%. So for me, that tells me that throughout the entire game, Leeds really had a lot of control over the game.
Not a lot, but it's more so that Liverpool weren't as in dominant fashion as they always are.
That, and I maybe should have worded it a little better, whereas Leeds are a newly promoted side, and to have that much possession against a defending champion, for me, that told me that they came ready to play. Marcelo Bielsa had them locked in.
Yeah.
And the one thing I want to say is that I hope that they keep this up throughout the season.
Big time.
But there's always the thought that they played this way because they were playing Liverpool. So there's always that extra kind of thought behind that as well.
Listen, man, I think as a team that has a lot to prove, you're going to play your very best, whereas you're compared to as a team that has won the title. You're always hungrier for the belt or for the championship than retaining the championship or the belt. And that just goes with any sport, with UFC, with soccer, with any sport. So I feel like the hunger is there for Leeds, especially that they're newly promoted. 15 years they haven't been in the PL.
Yeah.
Very exciting times for Leeds. And it's not going to be the first game that you hear of them.
And if I'm any other team right now in the league and I see what they did against Liverpool,
I'd be
I'm
worried.
not pushing them over to the side saying, "Oh, we're playing Leeds, easy 3 points, easy game." Because if they show up to games the way they play against Liverpool, any other team now is shaking about, okay, now we have to really take these guys serious. And don't forget, Klopp's not an idiot. Klopp knows that these guys really wanted to come out with a bang, so he had a system, and that's it. He didn't come out as dominant form to keep all the possession. He wanted them to play around with it, beat defense, counter. But it sucks that they lost the way that they did. I know I'm going to say it again, but hey, to go 4-3 against Liverpool, first time after 15 years coming into the league, good on them. I take it as a W.
Let's get quickly into Liverpool a bit. So 3 shots on goal, 3 goals for Leeds. What does that say to you guys about Alisson?
Oh, about Alisson? I'm looking at more on the side of Leeds being clinical.
Okay.
And that's very important in the PL.
Now, the reason I asked it that way is because Alisson, to many, is considered world class.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would argue that if you're a world class goalkeeper, you can what's the word I'm looking for here? You can
hold it down.
hold it down, but I think like Anthony had said it in our group chat that one time, where you can save a game in a sense, steal a game. That's what I'm trying to say. You can steal a game. Yeah. So I felt like they were missing that from him in some of those goals. Okay. They were still good goals. It's just, you know what I'm trying to say is that
like if it was one time to shine for him, it would have been at that point.
At that point,
Yeah.
instead of letting it go to 3-3 or 3-2, whatever it was.
But it's the momentum of the game. You see Leeds, they just come out flying. They're like, no, we're not done yet. Whereas maybe most teams would shut down, momentum gets lost, and then the game changes. Whereas Leeds, they're like I said, they're a team. They have something to prove. They have they have the belief. They have a system. They have a coach, and they have the fighting power. And like I said, don't sleep on this team.
And as much as saying that Klopp knew Leeds and how they're going to come out full blast, if I'm Klopp, I'm not going to the locker room smiling and be like, out of way, lads, 3 points. I'm saying, listen, guys, we have to buckle down because a newly promoted side after 15 years just scored 3 goals against us. A dominant team that we've been for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Allison and be like, hey, next game, I know today was an off game, but you can't be doing this. Letting 3 goals off 3 shots, you can't. At a caliber like Liverpool, like their expectation of them, I'm not taking that as a good job for Liverpool.
And when he's looking in front of him, he's seeing Van Dijk, who may have scored, but he had a weak game defensively.
So did Trent.
So did Trent as well. And fun fact about Van Dijk is that since the start of the 2018-2019 season, no outfield player has made more errors leading to goals in the PL than Virgil van Dijk. Now, I'm not saying this has diminished his status as world class, because I've watched soccer for about maybe, I would say, 9 to 10 years, and I would consider him world class from what I've seen defensively from him. It's a bad game. I have no doubt he'll bounce back from it.
For me, it's more for Liverpool keeping the consistency that they've been at, and they're gonna have a hard time doing that because the rest of the teams are coming with their A game now.
Yeah.
If Liverpool somehow end up winning the league, which I believe they won't, they are gonna have a hard time being up there. It's gonna be a lot closer than what people think it is. It won't be a blowout season like last season.
Agreed. Okay, I think we can move on from that game. So let's go to the next one. So Everton and Ancelotti's new midfield trio helped seal a 1-0 win over Tottenham.
Can I start this
You
one?
can go ahead before I get into my...
Okay, because I've been praising us for a long time. I've been praising Mourinho, praising that if we have a full lineup, we're going to do amazing things. But I'm not pointing fingers at Mourinho. He did all he could. He put the best team ahead in front of him. The team just did not show up. First half, we had our 2 chances. Like, if we'd scored, different. But second half, you can't come sleeping out like that. Like, no one showed up. They get the ball, and say, okay, you have the ball, and then you just walk. No one making runs. So I'm not taking anything from Everton. We did not show up. I don't care if Mourinho comes out with his excuses. But I'm happy that Mourinho put his team on blast, saying that you guys were lazy. No one showed up, which that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not taking anything away from Everton. They showed up with a great game plan. They made 3 key signings that showed up and just stole the game. James looked like a world-class midfielder, like he was, like how he's supposed to be. Allen was solid. Decore really played that part well. Good on them. I'm not taking anything away from Everton. Good win.
So speaking of James Rodriguez, he was awesome in his debut. Most chances created. He had 5, and that's the most by a player in their PL debut since Alexis Sanchez in 2014. He had the most interceptions. He had 4, and he won man of the match.
He deserved it, man.
So he looked very nice in his first PL game. Great things coming for Everton.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin shows that he still has it. Digne with a beautiful cross for the goal. The only thing I want to say about maybe Everton's side is that Richarlison looked very unlike him that game. I feel like he was the only player on Everton's side that was a bit weak. He did kind of make a lot of chances here and there, but he wasn't able to finish like he normally is.
I'm just going to make a comparison out to Richarlison because I'm talking about the Neymar game. I'm not comparing these 2 guys at all, but I'm just saying like Neymar versus Atalanta, where he had 5 chances to score easy goals and didn't capitalize on any of them. I find Richarlison had the same game. Amazing chances. The goal that the moment where he went around Lloris and should have passed it or scored, it just, like you said, he was off.
So for me, like I said before, with Leeds being clinical, it's super, super important, especially if you're not going to create as many chances. So in Tottenham's perspective, being clinical is something that they must do, and so should Richarlison. Because that goal, that should have been a goal.
Yeah.
Like 10 times out of 10 times,
And
it should have been a goal.
And Tottenham was lacking that creativity that James Rodriguez was able to create for Everton.
Oh,
and I feel
100%.
like that's where the difference maker was
Yeah.
throughout the game. And there's also a fact here for Mourinho. It's an unfortunate fact that says that that's Mourinho's first opening PL fixture defeat of his career. So he's won 9, drawn 1, and lost 1, which is this one.
But so, like I said, this is not to point fingers at Mourinho, calling it a failure for him. It's just he did not have the team in front of him show up to play.
I feel like he's still in the same position as he was at the end of the season of last season.
Wait, for what? What do you mean?
Just not creating enough chances, no creativity, and not being clinical enough.
Well, for me, what I'm going
And
to say...
no energy, like just no
but
energy.
I agree. I disagree with that because the last half of the season, we were all clinical. We only lost 1 game, won all of them, and drew 1.
Okay, so
So
let me
I'm just
rephrase
saying.
that.
So I'm not saying
no,
it's
no.
Mourinho with the tactics. I know his tactics is fossil football. He has to change it. But if the team showed up the way they showed up the last half of the season, we would have done a lot better. The team did not just show up.
So
That's
maybe
it.
not the last half of last season, but the overall season.
You could say
Because we've seen it so many times where it's just no energy, no creativity in the middle, and very I thought was surprising is that Lo Celso wasn't in the starting lineup at all.
No,
I think he brings a lot of creativity, whereas I feel like he's very, very, very heavily reliant on Dele Alli to make some magic and do something. And Dele Alli was ghost.
Yeah, but just to go back to Lo Celso, he did not play because he was not 100%.
Okay.
He didn't get dropped from the squad. He didn't play any preseason matches. He's not 100% at his top fitness.
So like you said, Mourinho's playing the best team that he has available,
And
which is fair.
And the team did not show up. That's when everyone says, "Oh, Mourinho." No, you just say the team was scrapped that game. That's it. I can't make any excuses. Everton won the game. It was a scrap game, and we're on to Southampton this weekend.
Long season.
That's why everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, Tottenham now it's a joke." No, it's 1 game out of 37. So I'm not worried.
Ahead of us.
I'm not worried.
And he did the right thing. He called them out. So that Southampton game is going to be a response game.
Yep.
And he should see different energy from his players in that game for sure.
Yeah, big time.
Agreed.
So other news around the league here. We have Arteta's Arsenal start the season strong with a 3-0 victory over newly promoted side Fulham. So that's great. It's good to see that all the players that he has in. So Lacazette was able to bag one. Aubameyang still showing that he has it, especially since he still hasn't put pen to paper on his contract extension yet.
Yeah.
So that was important for me, and the fact that he scored was just kind of telling them, like, hey,
I'm the real deal.
I'm the real
yeah,
deal.
Man.
I still have it. I'm still gonna get you all kinds of goals, and they know that he.
Yeah.
They know
They're
he's
confident.
They're confident.
Teta knows. He knows that the pen to paper is going to come soon. So I'm not worried.
Again, it's a nice victory.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, go too crazy about it if I'm an Arsenal fan. It's newly promoted side Fulham.
Yeah.
They still have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Chelsea boy Willian coming up with 3 assists that game. That's something Arteta probably loves to see. Signs a player very cheap and gets 3 assists.
Free.
That's why,
Very
no
cheap.
money. Yeah.
There's just no cheaper than free.
Free, for sure.
Yeah.
So Jamie Vardy doing Jamie Vardy things as he bags a brace in Leicester season opener. So fun fact about him is he has now surpassed Didier Drogba in PL goals in 42 less games, which is crazy if you think about it. So Jamie Vardy has 105 goals in 212 games, whereas Didier Drogba had 104 in 254 games.
Yeah.
So Jamie Vardy's 33, by the way, still doing these fantastic things in the PL.
Age is like fine wine, man.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of great things from Jamie Vardy, and he's just continuing to shine in the PL and continuing to show his team how important he is to them. And I believe he has the captain armband, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's him or it's Schmeichel, but he's just kind of showing how much of a leader he is for his team, and it's great to see. It's fantastic.
It's good on him. Obviously they're gonna make comparisons to the guy that he just beat,
but
win 16 titles for your team, and then we'll talk.
And not only that, another thing is that we could all agree that it was much harder to play back then with the teams and to score goals than it is now.
Well, I disagree on that. Drogba always had a good team around him, whereas Vardy maybe not the case. But Drogba was competing at the top level, whereas Leicester, for the most part, were either fighting for regulation and they won that one PL title. I haven't seen them win a title again. I'm just saying, I'm not taking anything away from Jamie Vardy, a fantastic striker, but don't diss my boy up.
That's what
I'm just saying, bro.
I was never dissing him.
I know.
That was
You're
a
just
fun
stating
fact.
the facts. Well, how about this? You want to state some facts?
Go
how
for
about
it.
this? I'll throw you a curveball here. Morata has 15 Champions League goals. Ronaldo Nazario has 14 goals.
Okay.
That's facts, bro.
That's fine. That's very nice.
Is
Good for
Morata better than Ronaldo?
No. That's
okay.
not what we're arguing.
Okay, so we shall move on.
I'm
Let's
just
go
saying it was
DDA.
very impressive that Vardy was able to do it in less amount of games. But we have a Chelsea fan here, so he wasn't going to let that one slip past.
Absolutely.
And speaking of Chelsea, so they were missing some of their stars for their season opener, but they were still able to pull through and beat Brighton. And Werner and Havertz looked very solid in their first PL game. What are your thoughts on the game?
For Werner, he looked good. He was making some runs, give and go plays. He did what he can. He did get the penalty. That was on Brighton's mistake. But he was there, quick, alert, very hungry. Havertz, I feel like he was a little bit in the shadows because I feel like he should be playing in a center attacking midfield role rather than on the right wing. So yeah. But overall, great performance by the whole team. Everyone was pretty much solid. Obviously, there's still things that they need to work on. Mm-hmm. But good 3 points. It's a good boost. And we move on to the next game, which is going to be a huge game.
Yeah, so good props to Chelsea. They showed up. They got the job done. 3 points. But I also want to give a massive shout out to Brighton, who were absolutely amazing today. It's they should have got like more goals if they really got like capitalized on their chances. But they're looking really good. That's why I want to give a little shout out to them. But good job on Chelsea. We'll see what happens when they have Ziyech, Kovacic, and Pulisic playing next. But good on them.
And that's what I was. I'll go for it.
Yeah, just a little shout out to a Brighton player, Tariq Lamptey, who's their right back, but who's also a Chelsea academy player, and he's on loan for the season. He looked amazing.
That guy is shorter than everybody on the field, and he was bullying guys on that right side.
He made it look easy, George.
He made Marcos Alonso he gave Marcos Alonso a run for his money on that side. He was terrorizing that right side.
Remember this? Because when Aspie's gone, they're going to look at him to be Reese's backup. And I know it for a fact.
Most probably, 100%.
That's going to be a nice Reese and Lamptey pairing for that right back role in a couple of years. And a lot to look forward to.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Because Lamptey looks great.
By the way, shout out to Reece James's absolute screamer today. Top shelf. Good on him. That was a beauty of a goal.
That's a worldie.
And first PL goal, too, of his career.
What a way to get
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It gave me flashbacks of when Company scored the same exact type goal from outside the box against Leicester. I think it was like 2 seasons ago. So got a little flashback there. But it was very nice. Great for him. And showing a lot of promise, especially since Aspie wasn't able to make today's game because of an injury. Like, he was on the bench, but he wasn't able to.
He played, though.
He actually came on?
He came on, yeah.
Okay, I didn't watch the last 10 minutes. But no, but still, like, he's going to be able to grab that spot and take over if he has to. So it's perfect. He's ready for it. So Manchester United and Tottenham looking at Sergio Reguilon for around 30 million. So what I want to ask is, who do you think needs him more in the squad?
Between Tottenham and United?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tottenham.
Okay.
He's a left back?
He's a left back.
Yeah, 100% Tottenham.
Yeah.
Over Davies. I would take Reguilon over Davies any day of the week.
Now, the thing that I was thinking about when it came to Reguilon was, I don't know if he's ever played a left wing back position before.
Okay.
Because I think at Sevilla they play with 4 back, and he plays left back. So with the way United play and the way Tottenham play, they play with 3 back and they play with 5 in the middle, where they play with the wing back. So I don't know if Reguilon is going to be able to actually do it that like in that position or do what he's able to do at Sevilla. But it'll be a good challenge. He's going to get a massive pay grade.
Yeah, for both teams.
He's definitely going to get playing time wherever he goes, whether it's at United or Tottenham.
I'm going to say right now, if he comes to us, he's going to get majority of the playing time because I find Davies a solid player, but I find he's going to be the backup to Reguilon. And that's going to give opportunity to Ryan Sessegnon to move up to his actual position, which is left wing, to be Son's backup. Because I don't find him really solid at left back.
Okay.
I find move him up, get Reguilon. He's going to be the starter. Davies as backup. I find it's going to really benefit us.
Whereas for United, I know they have Brendan Williams, who's like their youngster, and he's been coming up and he's been showing up for United, and he's been playing very good. And Luke Shaw, but I don't know what the situation is with Luke Shaw.
I've watched all three players play. So I've watched Brandon Williams play, I've watched
Luke Shaw
play, and I've watched Reguilon play. And there is, in my opinion, some people might disagree, there is a big difference in quality there. And
really?
Reguilon is that much better, in my opinion, than the Luke Shaw.
Okay.
And I think he can make that squad easy in the top 11. I think at this point it's going to be about who's going to give a bit more money, I think.
Well, if that's the case, United's going to take him.
Because he's going to get...
No offense.
He's going to get playing time regardless.
At
this point, it's a matter of, who's going to give more wages, in my opinion.
It's if that's what it comes down to, I think United's got the deal locked and loaded. It's unfortunate because for some reason Tottenham just don't want to spend any money, and the rumors and the transfers that they're
oh my God,
like rumored to, they just keep slipping away for Tottenham. And it's unfortunate because I feel Mourinho should get the backing that he deserves.
Okay.
And speaking about that, one last thing about Tottenham is that I find Levy dropping the ball with Milik to be quite embarrassing because it's looking like Roma's going to lock him up for 25 million when we didn't move from 20. So you're telling me you wouldn't want to spend the extra 5 million on a proven striker to finally be the backup or give that competition to Harry Kane? For me, is a joke. It's an absolute joke. I don't know what to say about that.
I'm really curious to see what happens as we get closer to transfer deadline.
That's what I was going to say, is that there's less than a month left. It's until October 5th, I believe.
Yeah, October 5th.
So October 5th is the last day. It's the trade deadline, or whatever it is, transfer deadline. And can't wait to see what Tottenham can do with that back.
Yeah.
Or a backup striker. Hopefully they're able to get somebody, but it's not looking too good right now.
So the only time I'm going to freak out is if the last whistle goes for the trade deadline.
At
For the
midnight.
transfer deadline. Sorry, I'm thinking of NHL for the transfer deadline.
Strikes 12.
Then I'm going to start fuming and you're going to see that podcast lose my mind. But as of right now, I'm good. I'm calm. I'm still back in Reno. But if I sink doesn't get another striker, I'm going to lose my shit. Big time.
So just one big thing to think about for next week, Chelsea-Liverpool. Next week, Liverpool looking to look a bit better than they did this week.
And so is Chelsea.
And Chelsea's looking to be a bit better also. So I think we're going to see a very nice game.
Do you know the timeline on Ziyech, George?
Not really, no.
No?
I'm not too sure. Apparently, it wasn't anything big, but we're going to see.
I'm also super confident that I saw that Chilwell will not be available either for the Liverpool game.
Okay.
I was seeing that he was going to miss the first two games. So they're going to be stuck with Alonso again, and hopefully he's going to be able to take up that. He's going to be up against Salah on that side. That's the only problem.
Well, it's not like he's done it. It's not like the first time he's doing it. We've done it before.
Yeah.
But Salah's off a hat trick too.
It's okay.
You're ready for it? You're confident?
I'm ready for anything. Win, lose, or draw. I support my team.
Back your team, George.
I support my team in blue.
Here we go.
Well, that's all I have. Did you guys have anything else to bring up?
If we lose to Southampton, prepare for an interesting podcast next week.
And what's his name? Isn't Højbjerg from there?
Yes, he is.
So maybe
if that happens, I'm going to lose my shit.
Maybe he has something to prove too.
Hey, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to the Premier League segment. Don't forget to check us out on other segments as well. And when you have a chance, please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Apple. And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Insta, and Facebook at 51 Formation. Thank you for listening as always, and have a good one.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the 5-1 Formation podcast. My name is George Georgiousis, and I will be your host today. Joining me today are Anthony Paradiso to the left, And Antonio Canal is to the right of me. Say what's up, boys.
What's happening, guys?
What's happening, everyone?
All right, in this segment, we're going to be covering Ligue 1 and La Liga, follow that. So, we're going to get right into it with Ligue 1 action. Le Classique, one of the biggest games in France, a game between PSG and Olympique Marseille. And what a game that turned out to be. Marseille winning 1-0. And they haven't done that in the Parc des Princes in almost a decade. So a very historical night. A lot of controversy, a lot of action. This is PSG's also their second game that they've lost in the league. And I'm gonna pass it on to Antonio, and he's gonna cover a bit more about it.
Yeah, so Marseille, like you just mentioned, finally getting that win in Parc des Princes after so long. They went absolutely ballistic. Thauvin recorded a video when they got off the plane in Marseille, and fans were waiting for them in the airport, going absolutely mad, busting out fireworks, flames, flares, whatever you want. No one was wearing a mask, but, you know, that's to each their own. But regardless, it's fun to see, especially someone who's a big rival like Marseille to PSG. It's fun to see them finally winning, bringing it to the top dogs of Liga 1, and bringing a different attitude compared to last season, Villas-Boas. So, I'm very happy to see that. The only goal was scored by Thauvin, who missed practically all of last year through injury. And he now has 2 goals and 2 assists in 2 games this year.
It's crazy because I know last season you were raving about this guy a lot.
I had him in fantasy, and I was waiting for those points to rack up. You know what I'm saying?
And it was unfortunate that he got injured, like you said. But now he's kind of proving your point. He's the top dog in Marseille.
Hey, alongside Payet, those two on the wings,
yeah.
they link up very well, and it's so fun to watch them and the rest of the team. We're going to get into a little analysis. Like you mentioned, second game for Paris in a row that they lose. They're 0-2. The first game they lost 1-0 to Lens. And, bro, like, who the fuck is Lens? You know what I'm saying? Compared to PSG.
No offense. No offense to Lens or any Lens fans out there if you guys are watching.
Even if you are, my bad, but it's totally true. Yeah. Right off the bat, PSG came out flying. But Mandanda came out.
Steve!
35 years old, veteran, keeping Marseille in the game.
Yeah,
he for me, won man of the match.
100%.
Kept Marseille in it. PSG had like 5 shots on target, or 4 shots on target, and 66 possession. So Marseille was just playing that clean, defensive role, playing as a unit and counter-attacking like you've never seen before. The speed in the front was absolutely amazing. And after Thauvin's first goal, there was an opportunity for him to assist a second goal, and they called it offside. But the thing is, he was onside, and clearly from every camera angle, he was onside. And they still called it offside with little to no VAR review. I was watching the game live, and I was screaming. I couldn't even believe the ref didn't go to the screen.
What a joke.
So, Anthony, man, what's the deal over there? It's just the same shit, different toilet.
Same shit, different fucking porta potty. No, it's a joke. Like, it's VAR is continued to be used selectively as of last year. It's because that could have been a deciding factor. What if PSG would have responded with a goal?
Exactly.
And they would have ended in a tie. Once again, Thauvin not being able to overcome PSG because of a call that was completely incorrect. So they don't realize how important it is for them to get these decisions right. Obviously, we're all human, but then again, we have technology that's going to support our decisions.
It's there. The technology is there, and they didn't use it.
At all. Zero. It's like a zero check. Like, not even like a attempt to go check by the refs or anything on their end, you know? Like, tell the fucking the guys upstairs in the office to throw them a Yasu. Yo, by the way, it might be offside. Give me 2 seconds.
Salut, bonjour.
Salut, bonjour.
Merci, bonsoir.
It's potentially an offside, but they didn't even bother attempting. There was no communication on their end, but
I think what it was is that the guys in the booth told the ref, like, don't even bother checking it. It's offside type of thing.
that's wow.
What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Like, I don't want to go into all kinds of controversy here, but it really leads me to believe that there's some match fixing or something going on. Like, I don't understand that.
Maybe not match fixing, but
It's a scam, bro.
No. There's an agenda, and you have to follow.
No, but seriously, like, to me, it didn't make any sense.
No, and we
At
see
all.
that pattern happen not only in Liga and but in all 5 leagues. So it has to, honestly, something has to change. I know they were reviewing. I remember when Arsene Wenger was mentioning that there's going to be some review that's going to happen. But this is before COVID, so I don't know what happened in their agenda. But they were going to review VAR and make some changes or whatnot. But
Clearly no changes.
So it's sad, man.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, in Marseille's perspective, they were fortunate enough to get the 3 points.
Still got the dubs.
Still got the dub, so kudos to them. Continuing on with this game, at the end of the game, it got very, very, let's just say, reckless, if you want to put it that way.
Very rugby-like.
Very rugby-like, very aggressive. You know, tempers were flying. Obviously, I would assume that the PSG players were very upset, considering that it's their second game that they lose in the league. Not in their fashion, not what they're used to. So a huge scuffle broke out. There was punching, there was kicking, there was headbutting, there was grabbing, there was all kinds. And not to mention, there was 5 red cards that were given that game and 14 yellow cards.
Yeah.
That's an absurd amount of cards in one game. The most I've ever heard of in my lifetime.
And I think all 5 reds were in a minute.
Yeah.
At the end.
Oh, it was right at the end.
Right at the end.
At the death of the game.
I wasn't sure if it was Le Classique or WWE Royal Rumble.
And they were at the center of the pitch too when they were all brawling.
Yeah, so just a little detail for the 5 red cards. 3 of them were PSG, 2 of them were Marseille, and the PSG included players Kurzawa, Paredes, and Neymar, and Marseille, Amavi, and Benedetto.
Yeah.
So one of those players for PSG, Neymar, we're going to get right into it, supposedly was racially abused by another player by the name of Alvaro Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that were said. There was stuff that was said on social media after the game. Antonio, I'll pass it on to you because I know you have full detail and you're going to explain it very clearly.
Yeah, so basically at the heat of the moment, Neymar got sent off and you saw him live on TV asking the fourth ref, there were racist comments. How come you don't check that? You check me hitting the player, okay, I'm sent off, whatever, but there's racist comments there. Are you going to check that? So basically right after the game, he came out on Twitter and said, my quote, open quote, my only regret is not hitting that asshole in the face, end quote. And then he also said, VAR catching my aggression is easy. Now I want to see the image of the racist calling me a monkey motherfucker. So apparently Alvaro Gonzalez came out and called Neymar a monkey motherfucker. So big over there. Listen, what I have to say is that Alvaro Gonzalez came out with a tweet of his own after Neymar came out and said that there's no place for racism. I've been clean my whole career and I have all these teammates and friends I see every day. Sometimes you have to learn to lose and accept it on the field. Incredible 3 points today. Allez l'OM. Thank you, family. So he's clearly denying that he ever said anything. He's pretty confident that even if he did say something, I'm assuming he's not going to get caught. Because to come out with a tweet right after and totally disregard the whole situation is pretty big on his part. I don't know if you want to come into this, Anthony.
At this point, it's a for now it's a he said, whatever he said she said, but it's both he's.
He said he said and he said. Yeah.
He said. So honestly, it's tough to say because we don't know what actually happened on the field. But for him to react that way and tweet right away in his own language too, which shows that it was him. Because sometimes, depending how popular you are, some people tweet out.
You have a
tweets for
manager,
you and post
yeah.
for you and have manager, publicist, and whatnot. That was clearly from him, and you can tell that he was frustrated. So I think something was definitely said. It's definitely a mind thinker, because basically in the times that we're in now, and all of this movement that we're trying to put through, all the 5 leagues that we're trying to put through,
The Black Lives Matter.
Black
and
Lives Matter
everything.
movement. So it'd be very tough to see, and if that actually happened or not, for him to. I mean, obviously he was gonna deny it, because there's no way he's gonna admit it, and then I don't think he's that big of a man, to be honest with you, for him to do that. Considering I've heard that he's had poor history in the past of disputes with other players.
Yeah, one being Leo Messi that you mentioned before to us privately. And I think that was the scuffle where he called Leo Messi little, and Messi was like, "You're just bad," and then ruined him afterwards.
And that was a rival matchup too,
Yeah,
right? Barcelona
Espanyol.
against Espanyol.
Exactly. So he does have the history. Nothing is official yet, but I do want to end this topic by saying what Neymar replied to Alvaro Gonzalez's tweet.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You are not a man to assume your mistake. Losing is part of the sport. Now insulting and bringing racism into our lives, no, I don't agree. I don't respect you. You have no character. Assume what you say, my brother." And yeah, this man is a racist, basically.
So I think with all of this, we have to go back to the footage and the evidence. And I think that in this time particularly, VAR should be used absolutely.
Well, that's what's going on. Liga, I just got a report today saying that Liga is actually going to take a look into the every video footage. If they could
Good.
catch some microphones, they will. And basically see what comes out of it. And if they could see what Alvaro actually said, and if he actually did call him a monkey motherfucker, then I'm expecting to be big suspensions going on, possibly even him being kicked out of the league, because this is
A super sensitive topic.
especially right now.
Yeah.
And he's not a fan. And we've seen what happened to fans, especially in the PL, for racist comments and
PL in
gestures.
Italy, everywhere.
So
Does not belong, man. Has to be out of the game completely.
we'll see what happens. What we want to let you guys know is that they're looking into it.
Yeah, they're looking into it, and if we do find out more news, we will bring it up.
All right.
All right. So I think that we can conclude Ligue 1 because that's the biggest thing that happened in Ligue 1. Obviously, the other teams playing and moving on with the season. So we're going to jump right into La Liga. So in La Liga, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, and Sevilla did not play because they participated in either Champions League or Europa. So they got an extended break
Yeah.
from last season. The La Liga season did start, so the other teams did play. Only Real Madrid will play next weekend versus Real Sociedad. The others have off again.
Yeah. It's
All right.
probably because Real Madrid got knocked out a bit early, I guess, from CL compared to the rest.
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Because, Atletico went further, Sevilla went to the final, won, and Barcelona, too, went
Pretty far.
so.
So speaking of Real Madrid, a newly acquired player as of last summer, has been having weight issues again.
Yeah.
And the name of Eden Hazard, which is very unfortunate for me because he comes from Chelsea, my club. I love him as a player and I wish him nothing but success. But he seems to be struggling with his weight again. I want to know what you think about that.
Well, listen, for me personally, especially what I said last episode, how he's going to have a bounce back season, I don't like seeing this at all. And honestly, I don't know who's to blame here. Is it Hazard or is it the team? I have no clue who to blame. Like, obviously, you said it previously in the past where I think it was John Obi Mikel or Michael or Essien that said that Hazard was very lazy in training.
Yeah.
So maybe this might take part in his after training routines and all that. Maybe he's eating a bit too much, not taking care of his body, what he's eating. I don't know, Ant. What do you think? Who's to blame here? Madrid for not looking out what the player is doing, their property in a sense?
Yeah.
Or is it the player to be responsible enough to take care of himself?
I think it's a bit of both. For starters, in terms of finding out whether or not he was going to get playing time when he went to play for Belgium in the Nations League matches, the lack of communication on Real Madrid's part, because he did not play 1 game or 1 minute. He was on reserves. He was on the sidelines looking from above.
And he stayed with
And
the
he stayed.
with the Belgium team.
Which comes into my point that it's equally at the same time his part for being for basically lack of professionalism, for not returning on your end, proactively returning on your end. Listen, I need to step it up this year. I had a poor season last year because of my fitness, and return back to training and use these 10 to 14 days to get back into shape and train with my team, and even watch video or just prepare. Just do other things than just sitting in the sidelines watching your national team play and having zero part into it. So it's lack of professionalism. Doesn't show me that he's motivated at the moment. We all think he's gonna have a bounce back here. We know that he's remarkable. He's world class. Talent is definitely there, but at the same time, he's a human being. And if you're not fitness ready, you can have all the talent in the world. It doesn't mean fuck all.
So you're saying it's going to affect his performance?
Yes, I agree. 100%.
Okay. What about you, Antonio? Do you think it's going to...
I believe personally that since it's Real Madrid's property, since they paid north of 150 million euros for him, they need to do a better job at kicking him in the ass.
Yeah.
Whether it's Zidane, the rest of the coaching staff,
Yeah.
they need to do a better job watching him. If they know that leaving him on a looser leash is gonna worsen his performance and ultimately the team's performance, then it's up to Real Madrid as a club to go up to him, give him a fucking diet plan, set rules for him, maybe have someone watch over him. You got to micromanage this type of player. It's 2 years in a row now that he's coming into the season fat, overweight. Is that normal to you?
No, it's not. And for that
Honestly.
price and for those wages,
So if I'm Perez and the rest of the crew, I'm looking at this saying, we as a club invested so much money into this player. He's been out through injury for almost an entire season.
Yeah.
And now he's coming into the second season of his Real Madrid career, overweight. We have concerns. What are we going to do about it? Sit around and do nothing? No. If I'm Real Madrid staff, kicking him in the ass.
yeah, either like threatening either playing time or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's also want to mention very quickly, it's kind of ironic considering he's second season now in a row where he's starting off looking like a patata, and he's supposed to be replacing the man who was arguably the most fit footballer at the moment and of ever,
Fit footballer, fit person on this planet.
who trains minimum 2 to 3 times a day and always the last one
That's a
through
very
the
good
pitch
point.
and always the first one there. So it's kind of ironic too.
Meanwhile, Antonio's taking a swig at his beer.
I ain't a professional athlete, my friends.
Oh, I have my McD's at 3 a.m. Don't worry.
It's unfortunate for Hazard because, like you did say, John Obi Mikel, who played with him at Chelsea, said that he is a lazy person in training, but he seems to turn up at the games. But I think in this part of his career, he can't be doing the same thing that he's used to. So he really has to start taking things seriously if he wants his career to progress and skyrocket. Because he has the potential. We've seen it. But for me, I think it's not the first time we see Real Madrid waste money on a player.
No.
Cough, cough. Gareth Bale. Dishing away money and he's not even playing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a topic we brought up last
I mean,
episode, but
Fair enough, but he's always in shape, so
That's true.
he's ready to play live.
Yeah, 100%.
and what I have to say, last thing before we leave the topic, going back to your professionalism, and Anthony too mentioned it, in Madrid, there's cameras everywhere when you're a professional footballer playing for La Real.
Los Blancos.
You gotta be top of the top.
Yeah.
We saw it in the Anelka documentary.
Mm-hmm.
When he went to go play for Real Madrid a couple of seasons, he had no privacy. And that was back in the early 2000s. Imagine now, it must be worse.
Yeah.
All right, moving on with your team, Barcelona. Unfortunately, you're not wearing their jersey. Kind of funny, but anyways.
I gotta show off the rest of my jerseys. What can I say?
In their preseason match, preseason friendly that they had, Ronald Koeman, the new appointed coach for Barcelona, played with a 4-2-3-1 formation. It's a formation that we haven't necessarily seen with Barcelona. I want to know what your take is on that.
With the squad we have now, I love the idea of having two pivots there. We have so much firepower up front, and he is utilizing Messi as I wanted him to, as a center attacking midfield, as a number 10 playing behind the striker. He's no more. He didn't use him, at least in this friendly. He didn't use him on the wing. He used other guys like Trincao, Pedri on the wing, and I'm liking it. Two midfielders backing up the attack, making sure there's a nice defensive hold, which is what we desperately need compared to last season. So honestly, it's an unfamiliar formation compared to what we're used to, the regular 4-3-3 with one pivot. But for at least the next season, the rest of the season, if you're using Messi in the midfield, that's how you want to do it, with two pivots.
Just a quick comparison. The Champions League winners, Bayern Munich, play with two pivots.
There you go.
So maybe they're taking a something out of that.
For sure.
No, you have to adapt, bro. You can't be stuck in your ways of being fixated on one formation. You know, that's what makes you a good team and a good manager. You adapt. You try different things. If it works out, perfect. If not, you would continue to adapt. So, good on him for challenging himself a bit on that.
Oh, for sure.
So just a bit on the friendly. They played Tarragona and Nastic. They won 3-1. Honestly, and before I move into it, he played two full different squads. So the first half was one squad, and the second half was
A different squad.
Okay. And the second half squad consisted of Coutinho and a bunch of youngsters, except for Ansu Fati because he was injured. But that second squad, compared to our veterans in the first half, they just looked amazing. Full of energy, full of ideas. Honestly, up front, this season, I'm not that worried. And Coutinho looks like a beast. I don't know what the fuck they feed their players in Bayern Munich, but it's looking good, man.
Steroids. But anyways, that's another story. Okay, we're going to still stick on the topic of Barcelona, and now we're going to move into transfers. And the biggest transfer coming out of Barcelona now is Memphis Depay agrees on personal terms with FC Barcelona and tells Lyon that he wants to leave to get a deal done.
Yeah, so not much there. Honestly, I think he really wants to come. He really wants to play under Koeman. He liked what he saw under the national team. And, of course, you're going from Lyon, even though they made it to the semifinals this year of Champions League. You're going from Lyon to Barcelona. You're getting a higher pay grade, obviously, and you get to play next to Messi for at least one season. So I think for him, it's very attractive. Now that we don't know what the hell's going on with Suarez, we just know that the board and Koeman don't want him. I think he would be a very nice replacement for Suarez. He knows how to finish. He knows how to carry the ball. He knows how to protect the ball up front, dish it out to other players. Pacey. You can't find a much better replacement than that, honestly, for me personally.
Put him on the wing too. Do you like him better as number 9?
Number 9, yeah.
Or number 7?
If they get him, I think they're going to use him as a number 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Because honestly, our other options are Griezmann, and they were even looking at Ansu Fati to play as a number 9.
Oh,
Ansu Fati is the number 9.
Those two options as a number 9 I'm sorry, we're not going to succeed.
I rather have Griezmann as a number 9
Hell no.
than Ansu Fati, but that's just my opinion.
I'd rather have Ansu if it comes
Worst
down
comes to
that,
worst, yeah.
If I could avoid both of those options as a number 9, I would.
Oh, for sure. So like you said before, Suarez doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but if he gets paid remaining the 25 million on his contract, Koeman nor the board want him to stay, but He is the third highest goal scorer in FC Barcelona with 198 goals, which is crazy.
Yeah, so listen, Suarez is obviously in a state where he wants to get paid. He's not going to get the same amount of money at this point of his career in any other team. So he's telling Barcelona, you want to get rid of me? Pay me the rest of my contract. If not, I'm not going anywhere. I'll sit on the stands. I don't care. I'll participate in training, and I'll play if I have to. But if you don't give me the rest of my money, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to another team. I don't want to sign another deal. I like Barcelona. I want to stay here. But the board has different ideas. Coleman also, he really didn't want him in the squad. He didn't even include him in the friendly match against Nastic. So right now it's a big mess. All we know is that Barcelona want to get rid of him, but he doesn't want to go. And we'll see what happens there. Apparently the deal with Juventus fell through because Juventus claimed that it was too complicated to sign Suarez at this point.
But there's also reports too that he's still gonna do that exam anyway, that whatever citizenship exam or Italian exam, whatever
Really?
exam he has to do. So once again, he said, she said between reporters too. So I don't know anymore what's happening.
Can you pass that exam with a certain amount of dollars by donation?
You should ask them that. It's a very good question.
Because I'm sure they can work something out.
I don't think we should ponder too much on this. Basically,
No.
Everything's up in the air with Suarez and Barca.
For sure. All right. Sevilla stop the pursuit of Sergio Reguilon as they look to sign Marcos Acuna from Sporting Gijon.
I don't think there's not much to analyze there. Real Madrid were asking a bit too much for what Sevilla could dish out. They're looking for 30 million with a buyback option. And they said, forget it. We can't afford that, especially not in this economy right now. So scrap the idea of taking him back. And obviously Real Madrid weren't looking for a loan option this year. They really want to get money for him. And like we mentioned in the other segment, the EPL segment, Man U are the front runners for Reguilon.
But they do dislike the buyback clause though.
Yeah.
They want to keep him.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But it's looking like Reguilon is going to get sold from Madrid.
All right. One more transfer rumor that we got here with Lautaro Martinez. Now, there was a huge turnaround this today with him and Real Madrid trying to pursue him. What's the story on that?
Apparently, multiple claims said that he signed a deal with, or he agreed on personal terms with Real Madrid. But then, as Paradiso could claim, the Inter president came out and said there's no deal going on between Inter Milan and Real Madrid. Lautaro is a Inter player and he will remain one, and we're looking to extend his contract. So I don't know. For me, it looks like Lautaro, he's trying to get the biggest contract he could, signing these personal terms between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And he's just looking to get more money in his pocket. That's what it is.
Interesting.
So
what do you have to think about it?
No, I mean, Fabrizio Romano confirmed before that the Lautaro talks are over.
Okay.
Inter are looking to extend his contract. And now Barca is putting all their focus on trying to sell Suarez and gain Memphis Depay. Apparently, as per him as well, Ronald Koeman wants Wijnaldum as bad as possible as well, but it's complicated. Another complicated deal, fuck. So that's his agenda. That's who he wants, Wijnaldum and Depay. Make a little Wolves team, but instead of Portugal, it's Netherlands. So
me, if I'm playing that double pivot role, I'm not going for Wijnaldum, I'm going for Thiago. But that's all I have to say.
But I don't think the chances of Thiago going to Barca I don't think it's going to happen.
If they put the money there, then yeah, it's going to happen.
there's a lot of big names up in the air right now, man.
Oh, yes, and only time will tell. So with that, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to our La Liga and Liga segment. This is a 2-for-1 special. Don't forget to check us out on the other segments as well. Please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at 51 Formation. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot, guys, and have a good night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5-1 Information Podcast. You're listening to a double league segment. We're going to do a season preview for Serie A and Bundesliga. My name is Alex Karabatz. I'll be your host for today. I'm joined by Anthony and Tommy. Say what's up, boys.
What's Gucci?
So for our Serie A preview, we're going to start with that one, and Anthony's going to give us a very detailed preview for the season that's going to start this weekend coming up.
Yes,
So
sir.
Anthony, I'll let you take the floor.
It's a new season and we're still breathing. All right, so we'll start with Serie A. Top 6 predictions for me. Surprise, surprise, Juve number 1, winning the 10th Scudetto in a row. That's what's going to happen this year. You heard it here first. Second, it's going to be very tight again. I believe Inter's going to finish second. I also believe Atalanta will finish third, Milan fourth. That's going to be very tight between those two teams, between third and fourth. Napoli fifth, and Lazio to get that final spot. Roma, I don't believe they're going to edge out, and I'll explain why when I get into them. We'll start off the bat with Juve. Juventus, they're always going to be a serious contender for the title. It'll be interesting to see because we hired a new manager, right? New manager with zero managerial experience, but he is one of the best midfielders to ever play the game. He has one of the best soccer IQs to ever play the game, along with being the most well-respected man, not only across the soccer world, but in all sports as well. Super well-respected. So I'm very excited for this season for Juve because Pirlo is teaching the squad a style that I love very much. A style where it's possession game, and when you do lose possession, you're pressing to make sure you get that ball back, which is a style that I've never seen Juve play in my amount of years that I've been watching them. So I'm very excited for that. The players are going to kill for Pirlo, and they're ready to go above and beyond for him, and also each other on the pitch. I'm assuming he's going to teach them to respect each other and just give it your all, give it your heart like he did throughout his career. Because football is more than just a game. So I'm very curious to see how also Arthur, specifically one of our new acquisitions, is going to play under him, how he distributes the ball and transitions the game to the offense. At the moment, since we're not signing any mids, at the moment he's probably going to be our new quarterback since Pjanic is now gone. So I hope he can gel that mid together. We also signed Weston McKennie, a nice 22-year-old American from Schalke. Low risk, high reward, cheap buy, no problem. I have no issues with that. Pirlo purchased him, I believe, specifically for the playing style that he's looking to ingrain into Juventus, because apparently his work ethic is like unreal. So that high press, get the ball back when you lose possession. So I'm curious to see whether or not he's gonna start or not, or if he's gonna come off the bench. I think he's gonna gradually get his starting spot on his own by earning it. So I'm very excited for that. The number 9, still a question mark at the moment. Suarez, who knows how many exams this guy has to do. So he probably has to write an exam for not biting people too. So we're looking at Dzeko as well. At the moment, it's very close for Milik to join Roma. So it's looking more and more likely that Dzeko is going to join Juve in the end, which I'm really not down, man. He's 34 years old. His salary is super high for a guy that, yes, it's going to be a short-term buy, but he's very one-dimensional. He's an aerial threat. He'll put the ball in the 6-yard, but I don't really see him linking up with Ronaldo and Dybala and then the others, but I hope he proves me wrong. And it's pretty ironic, too, that we're losing one Bosnian for another. Forza Juve, get the 10th one in a row, boys, this season. On to the next. By the way, before we move on to Inter, actually, is there any points that you guys want to mention about Juve? What do you think is going to happen with them?
Yeah, plain and simple. You're number 9. Cats. Hurry up and get one.
Yo, for real, man. There's 2 weeks left.
And this is coming from a fucking Tottenham fan, and I'm saying Cats to Juve. Because usually you guys get shit done quick.
Yo.
I don't agree on getting Dzeko because you said it yourself. You want to get a young team, and adding a 34-year-old striker would not be good. Getting Milik, on the other hand, who's in his mid-20s, that'd be a better option. But like you said, Roma are close to signing, seal, delivered this deal. But yeah, that's all I got to say on Juve. I'm still going to back them because even though other teams are improving, It seems like Juve always get it done somehow. I don't care that it's Pirlo's first year. Somehow this organization has a winning mentality, and it says all by itself. 9 years in a row winning the league. So I don't doubt them getting the 10th win in a row.
I disagree. I think that Dzeko is going to be, or he's going to slot right in nicely because he is a proven goal scorer in Serie A. I feel like it's not going to take him long to settle in. And he's going to take his spot in on that number 9 slot, no problem. And you guys need a poacher like him. And
100%.
I think it's been said before by many fans of Juve as well. And I think that with Dzeko there, you guys are going to get that with him. So I really believe that if he does go to Juve, then you guys are gonna be okay with him. I also agree that they're gonna win the Scudetto again. Inter, they look nice, but I still think Juventus is gonna get it done. Pirlo there, first year as a coach, but with the boys that he's brought in and the guys he already has there, I really believe that they're gonna give their all for him and win that Scudetto for him.
I hope so too. And Dzeko, I mean, if he does come, I mean, yes, Serie A is one thing. He's definitely going to kill it. There's no doubt in my mind. But if he can have that same goal-scoring prowess in UCL as well, which is my concern and what our objective is, I guess we'll wait and see. Next team I'm going to discuss, who I believe is going to fall short under Juve once again. They finished 1 point behind Juve last year, Inter Milan. If it's not Juve that's going to win, it's definitely going to be them, to be honest. In all honesty with you guys, I don't see any other team surpassing those two. Step one for Inter was locking down Conte. They had a big meeting, and they got him locked down. And right away, he was already active. They were bolstering their squad even more by acquiring Achraf Hakimi. Incredible signing, arguably top 3 right backs in the world right now.
Easily.
Had a tremendous campaign with Dortmund and will flourish as well under Conte, who plays a similar style with Dortmund, similar formation, where he'll be as a wingback and he'll have that freedom to go up and down as he pleases and contribute to the attack as he pleases as well. Another interesting signing too, they got Kolarov, who will probably slot in as a center back too.
And take all the free kicks.
Take all the free kicks, yes. They have a few options there. You can slot in at center back because I believe Godin is on the verge of leaving. He can also play left back like he has for the majority of his career as well. So it's he's older. He's on the older side. He can provide that leadership too. So there's no problem there. A great decision on their end for permanently signing Stefano Sensi and Barella from their loan deals. Sensi coming from Sassuolo and Barella from Cagliari. Locked them down. There were 2 key players. Unfortunately, Sensi had an injury for the majority of last year, so you guys didn't see the true colors of him. But Sensi is a real special guy, and we're hopefully for him, he stays healthy. But Barella, you guys saw what he's capable of. He's a nice center mid to have. So we'll keep in mind. We'll see those 2 how they pan out, and as well, what my main concern is as to why they will finish second is that, as per the previous years, the pattern has been they start off strong, they're performing, but they're not able to stay consistent throughout the entire season. And towards the latter half, like we saw last year, they started dropping points. They started tying against weaker sides, losing also as well. And just to give you an example, they finished with 10 ties last year. So you can't, even just half of those, they would have won the Scudetto if they would have ended up getting the dubs for those, only a handful of those ties. So that's the main focus, is to get that consistently in check. And by getting all these players, locking down Sanchez as well, for giving those players those breaks, by having that rotational options available to them now, fatigue won't be an issue now. That'll be a non-excuse at all. Not that it was used from before, but just to add on to my point that they have the pieces available. Hopefully they're all in it to win it. And we'll see what happens. And like last year, Lukaku and Martinez will be the key components. If they perform the same way as last year, they have a great chance of winning it all. So we'll see what they do.
And I think Lukaku is going to get just as many, maybe even more goals just by adding Hakimi on the wing as a wing back.
Maybe.
I find he's going to feed him direct balls, accurate balls, and Lukaku, you know what he does. He finishes in the box. So I find he's going to have the same season or maybe even better just by adding Hakimi.
Yeah.
Smartest choice by Conte. Very smart.
Yeah, and now we have a whole season with Christian Eriksen as well to see how he develops under Conte.
Yeah.
He has a feel of Serie A right now, so he can be a key factor as well with distributing the ball to Mo and Schmo over there. Lukaku had a career year.
Yeah.
34 goals, all comps, tying Ronaldo Nazario's record. So he has to be on his game as well. I'm not too sure if you want to add anything to Inter. What do you think about them?
I agree. They'll finish second, but if they were to win, the difference maker would easily be Hakimi.
Yeah.
Because of how strong he is on that side and what he brings to that tactic system. As long as he stays healthy, though.
Yeah.
So if he can stay healthy throughout the entire season, I can really see them pushed on for the title. But yeah, that would be for me the difference maker for Inter winning.
I agree 100%. And who I think, like I mentioned before, was going to finish third, Atalanta. Boys, what a year they had, man, last year. They're by far the most entertaining team to watch. Gasperini had his men play at high energy, high press, the 3-4-1-2. Multiple players on their team scored 15 plus goals, so it was amazing to watch. I think they're going to finish around the same position as well, third place. They're keeping the majority of their team. They lost only Timothy Castagne to Leicester. They brought in Miranchuk and Juve loaned out Christian Romero, who's a center back. So they're still proactive. They still want to compete for that Scudetto. And also Champions League now. They're going to be in Champions League again. They almost shocked the world by being minutes away from beating PSG and PSG choking once again, but they didn't. So they're going to be definitely exciting this year as well. So let's go Atalanta. But honestly, between third and fourth, like I said, it'll be very tight. So I wouldn't be surprised as AC Milan somehow overthrows their Bergamo rivals. They made a nice acquisition of signing potentially a generational talent of Sandro Tonali. Inter really shot the bed there, going after a 33-year-old Vidal instead, which they haven't signed yet, but very close to being signed, sealed, and delivered. Tonali, what can I say? He's a mix of Pirlo's elegance and Gattuso's brutal, aggressive game. So it was an A+ signing on them.
Yeah.
It's a childhood team, so it was a no-brainer for him to get it done. They have a nice prospect pool ahead of them. So even from, besides being a Milanista fan throughout his life, they have a nice project up and coming. Kessié, Benacer, Leao, Romagnoli, Theo Hernandez, etc. Rebic signed a permanent deal as well. So the way they finished off last year with Zlatan's guidance, which A+ on their part for locking him down as well, they're going to be looking towards his leadership to lead the way. Pioli as well, doing a great job in that second half of the season to have everyone really be in tune with his system, and they're going to continue under his guidance as well. It's a real Milan rejuvenation, Milan reawakening, if you will. So it's going to be very exciting to watch them as well, and Zlatan definitely won't accept anybody being lethargic on that field. So they're all going to bring their A game. I'm not too sure if you guys want to bring up any points for AC Milan this year.
I've been praising this team for the last half of last season. I find their project, what they're doing now, everyone gelling, everyone wanting to play for the manager. Having Zlatan lock in another year just shows the team that he wants to win. And I'm just so happy that they're finally living up to their AC Milan name, because we all saw that the first half of last season, not to be harsh, but they were a joke of a league. And the past couple of years, they've been really towards the mid-table, top table. But now they're going back to their dominant ways that they were from back then. And I'm so happy for them, happy for the organization, happy for Milan. Their fans have something to look forward to this season. Like Anthony said, they did great signings. They locked in Ibra. They have a solid goalkeeper. I'm happy for them, and they're going to have a great season. And I have them actually slotting in at third in Serie A this season. And Atalanta fourth.
So one thing about Atalanta that I wanted to bring up before I get into my AC Milan bid. So Atalanta, they got rid of Timothy Castagne, and when they finished their Champions League campaign, Hans Hateboer announced that he wanted to leave, or then he was ready for a new challenge. But the fact that they got rid of Timothy Castagne tells me that maybe they had a conversation with Hans and kind of told him, maybe stay and let's try again. Because I haven't heard news about him since. So they have more or less the same team. Don't forget they also, they got back Ilicic from his personal leave too. So I could definitely see Atalanta finishing third, and I have high hopes for that for them. Also for AC Milan, again, you guys brought up some great points for them, and I really agree with all of them. They have a great team. I'm a huge fan of Theo Hernandez, and I think he's a very strong left back, and he's very dangerous on that side. They have a lot of depth. I like the Tonali grab as well, and I think, like you said, generational talent. We can see another Pirlo on our hands, and I think that's exactly what AC Milan needed.
Yeah, to revamp their restart, their reawakening, like I mentioned before, 100%. That's why I'm really admiring that vision of going through youth now, to start off young, just get a restart going, develop these players. And they went after Brahim Diaz as well on loan. I'm not too sure if there's a buyback in there or not, but good on them as well. They're looking at Bakayoko to increase that depth too. So honestly, I'm very happy for them.
And just one quick thing about Brahim Diaz, he went from City, Real, and now AC, so he's trying to find his spot in the lineup. And I really think at AC, if we're going to compare for all three teams, he has the best chance there to grab a spot. Yeah. And I think he can do it.
That spot is his. I don't see anybody really replacing him at the moment between Rebic and Kahanoglu, depending where they slot everybody. I'm not too sure what Pioli has in mind. But we'll move on to another one of the top 6 teams, which I think is going to finish underneath those two Bergamo sides, which is Napoli. I think it's going to finish 5th. Not much to say about Napoli. They haven't made really any signings other than Victor Osimhen, 24-year-old Nigerian from Lille, on a record fee of 80 mil. That's including add-ons. Gattuso guided that team from a real shit show at the beginning under Ancelotti. He brought them in tune with each other. They're meshing well. They had a solid ending to the season with winning the Coppa Italia against Juve, because they were very lazy and demotivated before. So they're gonna prove a lot of teams wrong, a lot of people wrong. So keep an eye on Napoli next year. Lastly, Lazio. Simone Inzaghi's Bianco Saletti had a remarkable season last year overall, but they were inconsistent towards the end. The restart really fucked them big time. Basically, they haven't really purchased any major signings this transfer window at the moment. They got a backup striker, Vedad Miroki, if I pronounce that properly, who's looking to share some minutes with Immobile, because the guy needs a break after 36 goals last year. Don't you find?
Yeah.
So
just a bit.
Honestly, I think they're gonna perform not as well as last year. To be honest with you, I think because of how well the other teams are preparing for this season and how many acquisitions they're getting, they might be on that short side. We never know. They also brought in Pepe Reina to provide them with some locker room guidance. Not getting David Silva was very tough for them, because that would have been a huge signing for them, because the man could still play. But hopefully they prove me wrong, and we'll see what happens with them. Not too sure if you guys want to add any points for Lazio.
No, I think you said it.
You said everything.
For the Roma fans, sorry. I mean, you guys have a nice pool of players as well. Veretout, Perez, Mkhitaryan, bringing them back was fantastic. Signing Pedro was amazing as well. But I don't think you guys are going to compete with that top 6. They're way too strong at the moment. It's going to be a super interesting year this year, boys. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to watch it with you guys.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Is that it for City? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to our Bundesliga section of the segment. It's not going to be as detailed.
No.
But let's get into it, because we have a couple of things we want to discuss. So go for it, Tom.
So first off, I just want to get this powerhouse team out of the way, Bayern Munich. I find they got even stronger than they did last season by adding Leroy Sané on the left wing. So look for many goals from Leroy Sané, Lewandowski, and Gnabry on the right. I find that team just going to be just as dominant, and I don't see them losing many games, and might be not even any if they keep that dominant side on them. I find them to have a dominant season. Now, at second place, I have Dortmund playing there. I find Dortmund are going to be strong. I know they lost Hakimi, but they replaced him with Mounier, and I find Mounier is going to do a good job on that side. And I'm happy that they're going to keep Sancho, which that's why I have him at second place. And I'm happy that they're just keeping all of those forwards intact. And it's just going to help Haaland be just as dominant by having that assist man like Sancho right behind him. So I have them at second. I don't know if you want to add anything about Dortmund.
One thing I want to add about Dortmund is just keep your eye on Giovanni Reina. That's all I'm going to say.
Want to go into that or just
Not even,
keep an eye on him?
Just
That's a one to
keep an
watch.
eye on that. He's a one to watch because if he gets a lot of playing time this year, he's going to really make a name for himself. Because not many people know about him.
Yeah.
He's about 16, 17 years old. But Lucien Favre really likes him. And I really think that if he gets... maybe not a starting role because that's going to be very tough to crack for the starting for the season. But you're going to see him a lot in terms of how he's going to sub in, depending on who they're playing against, and just watch out for him.
Yeah, and do you have anything to add on Borussia Dortmund?
No, I think they're going to definitely rely on their attack to get the job done. They might get a decent amount of goals scored against them, but as long as the front get the job done and put in more than they concede, then they have no problem.
Yeah, that's a good point because the defense. It's not that I don't want to use the word garbage, but like
you could use it.
Like you can make some additions to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe one more center back that can really bolster that backside.
Yeah.
Like you said, Mounier was a very good signing to replace Hakimi because he's played that side for many years with PSG.
Yeah.
And he succeeded in that side. Like I said many times before, he's just not that fast.
No.
So it's going to be more of like a slowed down game on that side.
Yeah. But I find that's why I want to praise Dortmund a lot, but I can't really because, like I said, the whole season they could score 5 but concede 4. And for that, you can't go up against a powerhouse team like Bayern. So that's why I find they're going to go second, not a close second. It's not going to be a race for 1 and 2. I find Bayern's going to run away with it, but Dortmund's going to steal that second slot just because of 2 players for me. It's just Sancho and Haaland.
You're also basing that fact on the fact that you think that they're all going to stay healthy throughout the entire season. Because don't forget, Bayern, they can slip up and have an injury here and there, and that might affect some of their games, right?
Yeah.
So you're basing it on the fact that if they're healthy, like for 80% of the season, they're going to win. Right?
Like you said last season, a healthy Bayern's a strong Bayern. So if these guys stay healthy, I don't see them losing any game. I find it really tough for them. And to move on to the third place team that I have is Mönchengladbach. I know you guys are probably shocked that I'm not putting RB Leipzig, but I find Mönchengladbach last season were very solid. They had first place locked and loaded for majority of the season until Bayern woke up and said, "Hold my beer, let me take over now." But I find Mönchengladbach third place. They haven't really changed the team much, but they didn't have to. I find they have a solid team to compete. I don't know if you guys have any thought on Mönchengladbach.
I like that pick at third because normally I would have put Leipzig there, but Leipzig lost Timo Werner this summer, and even though I love Yannick Poulsen, there might be times where they're going to be missing a Timo Werner superstar on the team, and that might bite them in the ass towards the end of the season. And Mönchengladbach, they didn't really change anything on their squad.
No.
They still have a great 1-2 punch in Marcus Thuram and Alassane Plea. And those guys are going to come swinging again.
Very solid.
I really like that pick at third.
Yeah. Anthony?
No, well said. I think you summed it up. I mean, they could definitely rely on Plea and Thuram the most. Traore is also a very solid player, and Herman as well. So, I mean, if they want to compete for the top, you need to purchase players, right? So
yeah. And at fourth place, moving on from Mönchengladbach, at fourth place I have RB Leipzig. I know they dropped off from what they were supposed to be, but if they kept Warner, I would have put them probably third. But losing them, that's why I have a question for you. Do you find if now that they lost Timo Werner, do you see them really being as dominant or anywhere near top 4, or do you have them dropping to like 5th or 6th?
No, I still see them they can still compete for top 4. I really like some of the players that they bought, either if it was last year or the year before. Dani Olmo, he's going to be a big name in Bundesliga the second he starts getting settled in.
Yeah.
And don't forget, he was bought in January of last year. So he came in mid-season and he took over a bit that spot that Forsberg used to have. and now he's going to have a full season under Leipzig with his coach Julian Nagelsmann. I really believe that Dani Olmo is going to be a focal point to their success this season.
Yeah.
I agree. He's definitely going to be a key point to their success. And I mean, now it's a time to adapt. You're no longer relying on one individual to put the ball in the net. So this is the chance for Sabitzer and Poulsen to reveal their true colors, take the reins, and score as a community. Not only them two, but the rest as well. You can rely on him. You don't have a 30-plus goal scorer on your team anymore. So
you gotta share the load at that point.
Yeah. So that's why I find they're gonna be good, but not good enough to be top 3. Like I don't see them surpassing Mönchengladbach.
That's fair. Don't forget, Timo scored 28 goals.
Yeah.
So where are you gonna get
That's
that?
a big
that
chunk of
28
their
from?
success.
They gotta share the load at that point.
Yeah. And another thing about RB Leipzig that we didn't mention, that they locked and loaded Angelino. So now he's officially a RB Leipzig player, which I find is very solid for them.
Yeah.
At least they locked him down.
I'm a bit upset because I would have liked him at City.
Yeah.
We were missing a left back, and for some reason Mendy can't stay healthy. Zinchenko is not a left back, and I would have loved Angelino, but I can tell that he's happy there because I'm sure he forced the move as well, and he's getting playing time. There's nobody else there that can take up that spot because Klosterman, or I think it's Klosterman, he moved down to center back now.
Yeah.
They're playing a 3-5-2, and Angelino's left spot is his. So it's a no-brainer for me that he went there because of the playing time.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. He wants to play with his. He has all kinds of potential, and he wants to reach that. So why not go there?
Yeah. And to move on from RB Leipzig, I have 5th place. I have Schalke. Not much to say about Schalke. I find they were up and down. It was a roller coaster season, but I find they have a good team to gel to secure that 5th spot. And yeah.
The only reason I disagree is because they lost their best player this summer to Juve, Weston McKennie. I also saw a very strong rumor that they might lose their second best player in Amine Harit. He might go to Serie A. So for me, if you're losing your two best, if you're losing your 2 best players, it's not going to look good for the season. I'm actually putting them maybe below 10th. I would say between 10th and 15th. I really don't see them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that well this season, I'll be honest.
So who do you have put into that 5th spot?
So what did I said? So Bayern, Dortmund, Mönchengladbach, Leipzig, and then 5th place I would put. I'm going to put Leverkusen. They lost Kai Havertz, but they lost Volland as well.
Yeah.
But I still believe, for some odd reason, I just have this feeling that they can still lock down that 5th place.
The only reason why I didn't put Leverkusen 5th and I put them 6th is because the same reasons you're bringing up for Schalke, that they lost their offensive flair in Kai Havertz, Volland, and they're on the verge of losing Leon Bailey. So I find those are 3 of their key components to their success. I know they added Schick, who scored a goal in their preseason game, but I don't find it enough to compete for top 5. But we'll see. It's a long season. We don't know what happens. Just let you know, no one thought Mönchengladbach would be anything to what they were last season. So Bundesliga is looking very good this year. But yeah, so I have Leverkusen at 6 for that.
Did you want to add anything?
I actually have Leverkusen a bit higher than that. I have them at 4th.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I think Schick is also another one to watch too, because he didn't start a lot of games when he was at Leipzig.
Yep.
But when he did, he converted at
Oh, he
least
did.
1 out of the 3 games.
He
You
did.
know what I mean? So keep an eye on him. He's young. He's had a lot of promise. That's why Juve went after him originally. He failed the medical, but it doesn't matter. So keep an eye on him. He's definitely going to be a leader, a new leader on that team. Like you mentioned, 2 other top guns left. But they still have some solid pieces on that team between Leon Bailey and etc. So it's to be interesting to watch for Bundesliga this year.
Absolutely.
So now that we made our top 6 predictions, I want to say for goal scoring race, I find this season is going to be hectic with Lewandowski and Haaland going head to head. Now that Haaland's going to have a full season, a full fit season, I see him and Lewandowski going butting heads all throughout the season.
I really believe it's going to be Haaland's year. I think he's going to take that goal scoring title this year.
Erling.
Bundesliga.
I'm still going to back up my boy Schluen, but And also, I find Leroy Sané and Gnabry are going to be going up against Haaland, Sancho, and Thorgan Hazard. I find those three are going to be top of the list when you talk about stats. So it's going to be a great season to look ahead of.
Yeah, definitely Sancho, Gnabry, and Sané, because they're similar players.
Yeah.
And the way they produce, whether it's goals or assists, they just rack up those numbers on either side.
Yeah.
And if Sané can stay healthy this year, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice to see.
And all I got to say is, for you guys who don't understand, that left side of Bayern is Leroy Sané up top and Alphonso Davies left back. So that left side is all speed and skill, which that's what I'm looking forward to this Friday when they face off against Schalke. I'm looking forward to see that left side. And I find Alphonso Davies is going to have a career year again, but I think he's going to bolster up his stats a bit more this season.
That's a very fair point. I like that. That's good.
And if anything to add on Bayern, Dortmund, anybody?
Bayern, no. I think I agree. I think Alfonso's going to contribute more to the attack. I think his confidence now is a lot higher than it's going to be a lot higher than last year, obviously, after winning CL and the treble. So, by the way, EA Sports FIFA for giving him a fucking 81 overall.
2 of them.
But who makes these ratings, though?
I'm
Makes
surprised.
no sense.
I'm actually really happy you brought that up because in the game they didn't even put him as a top 20 fullback.
It's a joke, bro. It doesn't make sense at all, man.
I think all of us here could agree that he's the best left back in the world right now. I don't know if you guys have anybody else in mind.
No.
I don't think he deserves an 81. I think whoever chooses these overalls are crackheads. And fix your game. Stop having these fat losers with Cheeto fingers picking, he's going to be an 81. Watch the game and you'll understand his dominance, you bunch of idiots. And the fact that you have Henry Can as a better shot than Sancho, right here. And take a second one and call me in the morning. I don't know if you had anything else to add on Bundesliga.
I think we can end
Anthony
it with that.
heated me up with this FIFA talk.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
I think we could end it with that. So thank you everybody for listening to the double segment. Don't forget to check us out or check out the other segments as well. And when you have a chance, please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Insta, and Facebook at 51 Formation. Thank you for listening as always, and have a good one. Ciao,
Follow.
guys.